Hey, it's day 3. Learning how to vlog is quite an interesting thing. Trying to think about topics that I should talk about on a regular basis is a bit of a challenge, actually. More of a challenge than I thought it would be. So today, I wanted to chat with you about not staying up too late at night. Last night, I was clearly up way too late. It was about 1 o'clock when I got in, and about 1:45 when I finally probably closed my eyes and fell asleep. Hard to get up in time and be successful. My dad used to say it's hard to soar with the eagles when you're hooting with the owls, and that's probably absolutely correct, at least in my most recent experience. Long day today. It's about 5:30 right now. Just wrapped up a client appointment. Had a couple other client appointments and some phone appointments today. One of the things I wanted to share with you today was a couple of ways to be better at sales or reaching out to different types of demographics, shall we say. For example, one of the things I've learned in my experience with millennials is that sometimes millennials, not just millennials, but also the Gen Xers, is sometimes it's easier to communicate with them via text message and shoot them a text, trying to get a hold of them and reach out to them. And I usually get a quicker response with people sometimes than I do with making a phone call. And that I find interesting. I find interesting how we're making those changes, but I understand it. I understand that we're all busy people, and sometimes it's not convenient to be able to take a phone call, but it is convenient to be able to respond to a text message. And so that's one of the sales tips that I would pass on to you when you're trying to reach out to prospective clients, prospective people. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about with regards to sales, and one of the things that we discussed last night at Toastmasters, was mental flexibility. Being able to think about things differently, think about change, and think about how you do things, and being willing to experiment, and knowing that just because you think some way is right doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for everybody. And I think that in this world that we're living in right now, there's so many strong opinions that if you don't agree with me, then you're not right, and I can't be friends with you. And I don't understand that. I am a true fan of learning from other people's experiences, because we don't all wear the same kind of glasses. We don't all have the same kind of background in our life to be able to judge the way somebody sees something from the way that we see something. We need to understand other people's experiences. So for a sales tip, with this busy culture that we deal with, sometimes it's hard for me to get face-to-face meetings with people. So one of the things I do is use technology to my advantage. I might not be able to get a face-to-face where somebody's sitting here across from me in the office, or I'm sitting with them at their house at the dinner table or kitchen table, sitting across from them talking about life insurance or whatever it is that we need to talk about. But it is oftentimes pretty convenient to be able to have a FaceTime conversation, kind of like what we're having right now. And I would suggest that if you are in sales, if you are someone that needs to reach out and interact with customers and you need to be proactive with it, one of the things that I might suggest for you to do is either checking into figuring out how to use the FaceTime feature on your phone, how to use Google Hangouts if you have a Google phone, and also one of the other unique things is GoToWebinar. You can invite people to a webinar, more than one person. In fact, if you would like, they can register with their email address. And if they're not able to make the call, make the webinar, then it will send a recorded copy of the call or the webinar to the email address that they listed, and that way they can still participate in the call. They may not be able to ask questions and things like that directly in the call. Clearly they can't, but they could follow up with emails and things like that. So that's all I've got today. Oh, one other thing I do have for you today. One of the things I would suggest, if you're going to make an attempt to vlog, sometimes it's hard to remember topics that you need to come up with. But as you go through the day, sometimes those ideas hit you and you might not have a time to make that recording, kind of like me this day. I didn't have a time to make the recordings as I was going through the day. So what I did was I created this little list. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyway, I created a list so that I could remember what I wanted to talk about and maybe have future conversations about things to talk about. I have noticed a couple of things, 2 things in this 3 days of vlogging. One of the things that I need to work on is this. Apparently I lip smack and I don't even pay attention. One of the other things that I've struggled with is the idea that this is narcissistic. But I am working on the whole point of this is to examine what it is that I do during the day. Examine how I present myself to others and have an opportunity to share that with myself and anybody who might be watching. Maybe they get challenged by the same things. So, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you like, leave a comment below. I'm more than happy to hear what you might have to say about these vlogs. And I hope you have a great weekend. Today's Friday, but I'll be back tomorrow because I made that commitment. 30 days of vlogging. Thank you for sticking with me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.